Hey guys and gals, my name's Kendrick. I'm 32 years old and I'm currently living on a charter boat, running the charter boat as a captain, so I can make some money and sail around the world. Let me tell you about how I sailed across the Atlantic solo and what that was like. Currently you're seeing Joost van Dyke in the British Virgin Islands. I bought my boat after 3 years of working really hard. I saved up for it, and while she was mostly turnkey, she still needed a lot of features to cross the Atlantic. I did a lot of crazy things like drilled holes in the bottom of the boat, which was pretty nerve-wracking. I named my boat Spindrift, which means gale-driven spray. Here we are in Charleston, splashing for the first time, getting her prepped to sail to Bermuda. Sailing around the world has been a dream of mine since I was a kid, so this was a big moment for me. She's floating, and I am just about to take off towards Bermuda. This is me leaving the dock after 6 months of back-breaking work, sweat, blood, and tears, yes, all of those. Working through the winter with ice on the decks, no heating inside, and I was very happy to take off to warmer waters, but not without a gale or two on the way. About 40 knots, some gorgeous sunsets, and a lot of no wind. Here I am, finally arriving through St. George's Cut. You can see some Bermuda longtails there, those are the birds, and the water is a lot more beautiful with the sargassum seaweed hanging out there, floating by. This is a great place for me. My first international landfall solo sailing took me 7 or 9 days, lots of no wind, kind of a slow passage, but that was all right. My friend Gabe came to join me. We went diving on some shipwrecks, and I made some new friends as well. Had a blast. Went to a rave, and yeah, time of my life.
It's a feeling, it's a fever when we're skin to skin. Right now where your body ends is right where mine begins. The more I dive in, I just wanna get out. I'm lost again, it's about to go south. I feel it rushing, oh I feel it rushing through my body. I want nothing, nothing to do with you. If this is something, oh if this is something I don't wanna feel.
I wrapped up my time in Bermuda and set off for the Azores, an island group 2,200 miles away. I encountered gale after gale about every 3 days and got to practice something I had always dreamed of doing called sailing under bare poles, which means you don't have any sails up. Actually, it's just the windage on the mast and rigging itself that pushes you along at hull speed, no less. So it was pretty exciting. I got pooped by a couple of 20-foot breaking waves, 10-foot breaking white water into the cockpit over me. I got soaked and actually had to go without hot food for 48 hours while because a breaking wave came in and wiped out some of my electronics, including my solenoid for my stove, so I couldn't make hot food. But the nature was breathtaking, the waves were awe-inspiring, and I did have a few breakages. You're seeing a leak there from under the waterline, and a couple other things broke, but here I am arriving in Flores, the first island of the Azores, and it's kind of like the Garden Isle. It's so green, and waterfalls everywhere. Literally every half mile along the coast there's a waterfall. I got to go adventure into some extinct volcanoes, see more gorgeous waterfalls and caves. It was the time of my life, that's for sure. I even got lost on the top of a volcano, hiking around in the fog. being in the Azores was like being in a Jurassic Park movie. The nature was so amazing, but I knew I had to get going. I found a weather window north to England, which ended up being a bit too calm as I struggled for wind for about a week. I was being rolled out of my bunk and dishes were clattering. There was no peace or quiet on the boat, so much noise. But I eventually made it, and after seeing some really cool nature, some turtles, fin whales, which are the second largest whale on the planet, almost 100 feet long, had some breakages as well. Jib halyard snapped, a couple other things, still struggling with that rudder leak as well. I arrived in Falmouth, the capital of the golden age of sailing. I had always wanted to sail into it like the historic sailing ships did. Saw some sea shanty festivals, and then worked my way up the Irish Sea towards Scotland. After some stormy seas, I made it up past the Isle of Man and to Islay, where Lagavulin, Laphroaig, Ardbeg, and many other famous whiskies are made. Got to try some too. But my goal of all this, to sail across the Atlantic, was to get to the Isle of Skye, back to Loch Scavaig, where I had backpacked before, in this teeny tiny little forgotten river valley. There were 1,000-foot cliffs all around in this very protected anchorage. There's a loch hidden behind, and these mountain peaks that are steep and sharp, just like they're out of Lord of the Rings. There are thousands of islands in the Western Isles of Scotland. This is the Isle of Muck, where I got to see the local shepherds walk their sheep around. Their horses were right on the beach there. A mate of mine, Mike, that I met in the Azores, came up and we did some sailing together. But most of the stuff I did was solo. It was really nice to have a break and have a fellow adventure buddy. I then set off for Ireland. So I stopped in Belfast, and of course Dublin. I got to tour the Guinness factory, which was a treat. St. Michael's Mount, a castle on an island you can only walk to at low tide. I finished my solo transatlantic trip in Falmouth, where I hauled my boat out to get ready for the next leg of the journey, which will be down to South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, Cape Horn, and then back to the States. But that'll take some time. I knew I needed to work, so I hauled Spindrift out, and she's getting all prepped for the next leg of the journey. Feel free to tag along. Thank you for watching.